Okay, so the first exercise we're going to cover is a clearing exercise, and it's really effective for fears, and in particular, bigger fears that don't budge as easily with some of the more simple exercises that I will also share. And this is from the book Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain, with slight modification from NLP. So in this exercise, you start off with just describing briefly what's going on, like your current circumstance that is leading to this clearing exercise. And then you go through your current state um, through three components: your emotional state, physical state, and mental state. So you're going to describe your physical sensations. Don't try to find the one that you think is connected to the feeling or to the fear or the circumstance. Just list everything, because we don't always know where and how that uh, fear or that experience is lodged in our body. So just list everything so that your mind and your body can become aware of uh, uh, all the symptoms. And then list out your feelings, and you can just list them in single words. You don't have to describe them. So it'll be like hopeless, hopeful, or inadequate, excited, anxious, whatever it is, terrified, horrified, embarrassed, whatever it is. And then you go to your negative thoughts. So we're going to, you don't need to go too far. So we're going to get to the negative thoughts a little bit more as we go through the exercise. But here you just kind of want to put down the various negative thoughts. And then you're going to describe your worst case scenario. And then you're going to ask, and then what? So the and then what could be either, is there something worse that could happen? So it's kind of like digging deeper for the worst case scenario, or it could be just the consequence that isn't necessarily worse, and it's kind of like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought if this thing happens, and then what? No, like for example, oh, I gotta get this job, like well, whatever it is. Um, so then you go into your best case scenario and realize if you are starting out or are in a very mm, dark place, and or someone who is very attached to and or drawn to and addicted to the negative feelings, it's going to be quite hard to even come up with a best case scenario and stick with the positive side and not get dragged into describing negative again. So try to stay focused and redirect yourself and really stretch to give a best case scenario, not just like an okay scenario, but best case scenario. And then from there, you ask, well, what are my core negative beliefs that stand in the way of this best case scenario and or make me think my worst case scenario is possible or is going to happen. So then you take these core negative beliefs and you do the negations, which is the slight modification from for based on NLP. And for the negations, you're going to write them in cursive, and it's going to be the same thing as the core negative belief, but you're just going to add a not or remove a not or a don't. And then you're going to do positive affirmations for these core negative beliefs. And the positive affirmations will be in present tense. So it'll be am now or now. It needs to be present tense. And first person. So it'll be I, whatever your name is, am now this positive thing. So it's really important that here it's not just the negation of the negative. So it shouldn't be I, your name, not inadequate. It should be I am worthy. I am now, I, your name, am now worthy. And then you do that for every single one of the core negative beliefs, and you take each one and you repeat it at least 10 times. You could say it out loud, you could write it out. And then this part's also really important that you don't forget to do this, because then 30 minutes before bed, you will repeat the affirmation so that they really have a chance to get integrated as you sleep. And then you can check in the next day, see how they're doing. If it's something really deep or intense and very integrated into your system, in my experience, I had to do the clearing exercise over and over and over again, because I would like clear one layer, and then like the next layer would become exposed, and I had to clear the next one. And a good rule of thumb is, if you're noticing that you're not pursuing the thing that you want, like for example, in my case, when I first started, I was studying for an exam, and I would notice my resistance in the form of just not being productive, like either getting distracted or things were coming up, or I just wasn't able to study. And I was like, okay, I need to clear something. I need to clear things out. And I would do the clearing, and I could then sit down and study, be super productive. And then like the next day I would notice, because this was a really important exam, and a lot of my self-sabotage was coming up, a lot of my, feelings of inadequacy would come. So I had to really, keep doing the clearing exercise as the next thing came up. But sure enough, I ended up doing amazing, and did not sabotage myself, which was a really big deal. And was able to then build on that and do the next thing. I guess that's it. I'd love to hear your experience. Let me know how it goes.